Okay, let's set the scene. The date is January 3rd, 2026. It's pitch black over the Caribbean Sea, and a U.S. Special Operations team is flying inbound to Venezuela. Their mission is called Operation Absolute Resolve, and it's not running on jet fuel alone. No, this whole thing runs on a completely new kind of fuel: data. This is the story of the Truth Pipeline. Right at the center of this mission is Commander Alex Rivera, and this quote from him, well, it really gets to the heart of the problem in modern warfare. We're living in an age of just endless information, right? So how do you find the truth in all that noise? And maybe more importantly, how do you trust it when people's lives are on the line? You see, today's battlefield is a race. It's not just about who has the most ground, but who has the most time. The side that can see what's happening, understand it, and then act on it the fastest, well, that's the side that wins. And the United States has built an entire warfighting concept around this one single idea. It's called CJADC2. That stands for Joint All-Domain Command and Control. The goal here is to connect absolutely everything. We're talking satellites, drones, aircraft, soldiers on the ground, into one giant seamless network. And the philosophy behind it is brutally simple. Sense what's happening, make sense of it, and then act on it before your opponent can even blink. So this is how it's supposed to work, this truth pipeline. First, you've got sensors to see everything. Then, edge computing to process that data right there on the spot. A data fabric unifies it all, and AI apps suggest what to do next. Then, command and control, the humans, make the call. Effectors strike the target, battle damage assessment checks the work, and the whole system immediately retasks for the next move. See? Unify, command, strike, adjust. All of it happening at machine speed. But this whole setup creates a massive dilemma for any commander. Do you go fast? I mean, you shrink the enemy's reaction time to almost zero, but you become completely dependent on this incredibly complex, maybe even fragile system. Or do you go slow? Take the time to verify every single piece of data, so you're certain. But in doing that, you lose the element of surprise and probably put your people at way more risk. For Commander Rivera, this theoretical problem is about to get terrifyingly real. Because right as the operation is kicking off, that perfect high-speed system starts to show its first critical flaw. A warning just flashes on his command display, something nobody's ever seen in a training scenario. It reads, "Data Pedigree ambiguous." Now, this isn't a broken piece of hardware. No, this is a crisis of trust in the information itself. So, what in the world is data pedigree? Well, think of it like the digital family tree of a piece of information. It's the system's way of answering that one question that matters most. Where did you get this, and why should I believe you? Without a clear pedigree, data isn't really data at all. It's just a rumor. And this really is the central question of this whole operation, and maybe for all conflicts in the future. What do you do when the very machine you've built for perfect, unquestionable speed suddenly tells you, hey, I can't guarantee this is the truth? It turns out the problem isn't just about a glitch in the code. The friction that's grinding this machine to a halt, well, it's made of human and bureaucratic walls that have been around for decades. Yeah, this quote, coming from inside the command center, it says everything you need to know. The key piece of human intelligence, the info confirming where the target is stuck behind a classification wall. The CIA just can't share its sources with the military, and that creates a massive blind spot at the worst possible time. Just look at this synchronization matrix. It gives you a sense of the terrifying complexity we're talking about. Every single move, from electronic warfare to the actual helicopter insertion, depends on dozens of other things all happening in perfect time. One little data gap, and the whole house of cards just comes crashing down. And here's the bottom line. The all-seeing data network, it can only see what humans allowed it to see. The technology was amazing. It could handle all the data you could throw at it, but it couldn't overcome simple human mistrust and secrecy between different agencies. The system's biggest blind spot was created by its own rules. So with that crack in the very foundation of trust, the inevitable happens. The entire high-tech advantage just evaporates, and it forces the operators back to the absolute basics, right in the most critical phase of the mission. Then the call comes over the radio that everyone dreads. Fusion is gone. We're on clock and voice. That means the data fusion engine, the brain of the whole operation, it's dead. The shared digital map, all the icons, gone. All that's left is the time on their watches and human voices on the radio. Now, when the main plan goes up in smoke, the military has a doctrine for what to do. It's called PACE. That's primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency. It's basically a pre-planned ladder of backup options for how you're going to communicate, and it's designed for exactly this kind of total system failure. To put it really simply, PACE isn't just a backup plan. It is the plan for when your main plan, the one you spent months and billions of dollars on, inevitably breaks. And in that moment, Commander Rivera gives the only order that matters. It's not some technical command, it's a survival philosophy. You fall back to your next layer, your next plan, or you die. It's that simple. This whole operation, even though is a fictional look into the near future, it reveals a huge shift in how conflicts are fought, and it shows us the new rules that are going to govern them. Because here's the really unsettling truth that came out of this. When the humans were too gridlocked by their own rules and secrecy to make a decision, the system made it for them. By flagging that data as untrustworthy, the data fabric itself basically forced a course of action. It quietly became the real commander on the ground. Which leaves us with this one giant, critical question for the future of war. As our systems get faster and more connected and smarter than we can imagine, who is actually in command? Is it the human operator with all of their gut feelings and their flaws? Or is it the very system they built to try and make them perfect?